Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news bond markets are flashing warning signs. But first today, the overnight dairy auction has brought sharply lower prices on rising volumes offered. The key whole milk powder price was down 7.5% in US dollar terms, down 6.3% in New Zealand dollar terms. Cheese, butter and skim milk prices all got much lower auction prices as well. Overall, that is a weighted average fall of 5.1% in US dollar terms and 4.6% in New Zealand dollar terms. This event brought an unexpectedly large price correction, and prices are now down an average of 5.6% year on year after a few months where we recorded year on year gains. That will bring analysts to relook at their rising 2020-2021 season farmgate milk price forecasts, even if they don't change them just yet. US factory orders rose more than June than expected, but this is now being seen as an outdated trend. More current US retail sales rose marginally last week from the week before, but are still 7.1% lower than for the same week a year ago. Eastern China is battening down for a seasonal typhoon. The eastern US is similarly bracing for a major hurricane. In both zones, these major storms break a long quiet period of such storm events. However, that doesn't make them any less of a risk to the economies they affect. The storms aren't keeping buyers away at Chinese car dealers. Sales rose 15% in July from a year earlier to 2.1 million units. And Australia has recorded another huge monthly trade surplus. In July, it posted an $8.2 billion surplus for the month, taking the 12-month total to $78 billion. The surplus has been expanding for a long time now. And China may be grumpy with the Aussies, but they just keep on buying and paying ever higher prices. Iron ore prices are now up 80% in the last 9 months. Yesterday, the RBA announced the results of its monthly monetary policy review, and while it made no interest rate changes, it did emphasise it'll be intervening more vigorously in secondary markets to keep bond yields low. And it raised its forecast for unemployment levels coming to Australia. They now expect them to hit 10%. The US Treasury 10-year yield has fallen 5 basis points today on a sharp risk aversion tone on Wall Street, and it's now just on 0.51% and a new record low. And the gold price is sharply higher today, up $44 to $2,019 an ounce and a new record high. Oil prices are up, but by less than $1 a barrel today. They're now just under $42 a barrel in the US, and the international price is just over $44.50 a barrel. But the Kiwi dollar has stayed soft against the US currency. It's still at 66.1 US cents. Against the Australian dollar, we're half a cent lower at 92.4 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're at 56.1 euro cents. That means our trade-weighted index is a little softer at 69.3. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.